7 billion people entered the Doomsday world. Extreme cold, burning heat, zombies, endless despair. The one he trusted killed him, but destiny gave him another chance. Now, the apocalypse belongs to him.
It hurts too much. Su Yang gasped for breath, drenched in sweat, and abruptly sat up from the bed. Bastard, you touched me. Cough, cough. An angry voice, accompanied by violent coughing, rang out. Following the sound, a naked Cui Qingxue was breathing rapidly, tears streaming down her face. Looking at the familiar person and surroundings, Su Yang was unable to calm down for a long time. Wasn't I killed in the Doomsday world by this bitch Cui Qingxue, in league with Wang Qi? Su Yang muttered to himself, did I get reborn? At 8 a.m. on November 13, 2024, all 7 billion people worldwide were suddenly transported to a place called the Doomsday World to survive the apocalypse. There, everyone faced the dilemma of harsh environments and food shortages. To survive, a piece of moldy bread could make a stunning beauty lower her proud head and stick out her sexy butt. Even in situations of extreme water scarcity, a single piss could make many people willingly submit and become slaves. Moreover, without the constraints of law and morality, the entire world became a living hell. Everyone had to fight for survival. At that moment, the evil of human nature was fully displayed. To survive, Su Yang had eaten grass roots and gnawed on tree bark. He had fought wild beasts barehanded and engaged in life and death struggles with the indigenous people there. He didn't even know when he would collapse and die. Even so, he still protected Cui Qingxue, his girlfriend of 3 years. Even when he had starved for 3 days and nights, he never let her worry about food. From beginning to end, he never let her suffer in that hellish Doomsday world. But he never expected that after risking his life to snatch a large amount of food and water from the indigenous people, and returning to the gathering place exhausted, Cui Qingxue would team up with Wang Qi to kill him. She even cruelly dismembered his corpse and used it as emergency rations. It wasn't until the moment he lost consciousness that Su Yang learned that Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi had secretly been together for many years. Even when they entered the Doomsday world to survive, Cui Qingxue had secretly been using the food Su Yang gave her to help Wang Qi. No wonder, no matter how hard he tried to find supplies, it was never enough for the two of them. So that's how it was. Su Yang would never forget that at the moment of his death, Cui Qingxue lay in Wang Qi's arms, a sneer on her face. Being with you before was because you had some stinking money that could satisfy my material desires. Did you really think I loved you? Hilarious. Then she mocked, as for coming to this world, I just treated you as a tool to help Wang Qi and me survive. Now that we have enough food and water, you're useless. Go ahead and die in peace. Thank you for your selfless dedication, I'll remember you. The cruel, heartless, and sarcastic words echoed in his mind, lingering for a long time. Su Yang took a deep breath, trying to calm the rage in his heart. He pulled himself out of his thoughts. Darling, what's wrong? Cui Qingxue asked worriedly, looking at the dazed Su Yang, shouldn't you be full of vigor in the morning? Why are you spacing out? You seem a bit off today. Cui Qingxue had somewhat recovered. Her face was flushed. Her voice was a little hoarse. Clearly, that last bit had hurt her quite a lot. But to please Su Yang, she endured it. At this moment, she was like a kitten, considerate and endearing. If it weren't for his experience in the Doomsday world, Su Yang might never have known that she harbored such a venomous heart. Thankfully, heaven allowed him to live another life, letting him see her true colors. Cui Qingxue, I gave you my heart and soul, but you tried to take mine. A sharp killing intent flashed in Su Yang's eyes as he secretly muttered, this time, I will make you and Wang Qi suffer the most agonizing torments in the world. Darling, what's wrong? Why aren't you talking? Cui Qingxue, still unaware of what had happened, saw Su Yang's sharp gaze and said pitifully, your eyes just now were so scary, I'm so scared. Nothing. Su Yang chuckled, I was just thinking about something. Come on, let's continue. No, no. Cui Qingxue quickly shook her head, my throat still hurts. That last encounter had truly scared her a bit. I'm not satisfied yet. Su Yang domineeringly pressed her head down and whispered, continue. He originally thought this woman was his private property. He never expected her to be shared. However, for Su Yang, it no longer mattered. At least he could collect some interest first. Although she didn't understand why this man, who she always thought was brainless, had suddenly changed like a different person. Even though she felt extremely repulsed, to please him, she still agreed. An hour later, both of them were fully dressed and came to the living room. "Darling, I saw a bag I liked at the mall yesterday." Cui Qingxue smiled sweetly at Su Yang. "It only costs 50,000 yuan, will you buy it for me? No wonder you were so energetic today." Su Yang sneered, "So you wanted money? 50,000 for one time, do you think you're gold-plated?" "No." Su Yang answered very directly. "How could that be?" Cui Qingxue hugged his arm and whined, "Darling, you're joking with me, right? You must be planning to give me a surprise." "Really not." A smile appeared at the corner of Su Yang's mouth. "Recently, I'm making an investment that requires a large amount of capital. If you really like that bag, then borrow some money from Wang Qi first. Aren't you two high school classmates? You've known each other for many years. I'm sure he'll agree. When my funds return, I'll buy you one worth 200,000. Not killing you immediately, you bitch, is already me being merciful. Still want money? You're dreaming." If it were before, Su Yang might have given it to her immediately. Although he wasn't short on money, knowing that the Doomsday world was coming soon, every penny he had was useful. How could he possibly give it to this bitch Cui Qingxue? Rejected again, Cui Qingxue's face darkened. But she quickly returned to her usual demeanor. She smiled at Su Yang and said, "All right, darling, I'll wait for you to make a lot of money and buy me presents. I have a class reunion, so I might not be able to accompany you tonight. Don't miss me too much when you're home alone." "Bullshit class reunion." Su Yang scoffed, "I bet you're going on a rendezvous with that beast Wang Qi." Smiling as he bid her farewell, Su Yang watched Cui Qingxue's retreating back. The killing intent on Su Yang's face could no longer be suppressed. The temperature in the entire room seemed to drop to freezing point. "You stinking bitch, I'll let you and Wang Qi live a little longer." Su Yang roared, "After we enter the Doomsday world, I'll let you know what true cruelty is." Bang! Su Yang slammed his fist on the table, temporarily venting the anger in his heart. He picked up his phone and checked the time, October 13th, 2024, 9 in the morning. So that means I not only reincarnated, but I also reincarnated 1 month before being pulled into the Doomsday world. Su Yang was overjoyed. With so much time, he could prepare in advance for the inhumane life there. What is most important in the apocalypse? Of course, it's supplies. As long as he hoarded enough supplies, he could completely reverse his previous predicament. Although the threats faced in the Doomsday world were not limited to just a shortage of supplies. But at least he wouldn't have to face various dangers for supplies, nor would he have to run around for basic necessities like food and water. He could live a life even immortals would dream of. He would rewrite Doomsday survival into Doomsday sightseeing. As soon as he thought of food and water, Su Yang suddenly felt both hungry and thirsty. He immediately went to the refrigerator, opened a bottle of mineral water, and drank it all. Then he took out the leftover food from yesterday, not caring if it was cold. He devoured it ravenously. After struggling for so long in the Doomsday world, even after reincarnating, Su Yang had an instinctive craving for food and water. He had never realized that ordinary mineral water could be so sweet. Leftovers could also be so delicious. After eating and drinking his fill, Su Yang sat on the sofa with a satisfied expression. He lowered his head in thought. How could he bring the pre-hoarded supplies into the Doomsday world? He couldn't just prepare all the supplies and then only have one person transport it over. Wouldn't that be a waste of effort? Even if he managed to fill a few backpacks with supplies and have them transported with him, it wouldn't be enough, nowhere near enough food. Moreover, the target would be too large, making him susceptible to being surrounded. Just as he was feeling incredibly conflicted, a spatial fluctuation appeared, and his phone nearby suddenly disappeared. Su Yang sensed that a space had inexplicably appeared within his body. His phone was quietly lying inside. With a thought, a space gate opened. His phone returned to his hand. This discovery filled him with joy. He silently chanted "collect" at his phone again. The phone reappeared within the space. When Su Yang's consciousness entered the entire space, he found the entire space boundless and incredibly vast. With it, any amount of supplies can be stored. Su Yang laughed heartily. He put the sofa, bed, refrigerator, and everything in his house into the space. With a wave of his hand, the space gate opened, and everything returned to its original state. To study the specific functions of the space, he even specifically ran downstairs to a chain supermarket and bought a pound each of live fish and live shrimp, as well as fresh fruit. Then he boiled a cup of hot water, and poured a cup of cold water, measured their temperatures, and simultaneously put them into the space. Then he released the fish and shrimp he had just put in. The originally lively fish and shrimp were now completely still, deader than dead. However, they were still very fresh. It seems that live creatures cannot be placed in the space. Su Yang analyzed, any living thing that enters the space will die immediately. I just don't know if it can preserve freshness. After all, the fish, shrimp, and fruit had been in the space for too short a time to draw an immediate conclusion. After putting the fish and shrimp back into the space, he decided to wait a bit longer. Then he would take them out and see. With this secret weapon, the space, the next steps would be much easier. He just needed to massively hoard supplies. He acted immediately. Su Yang opened the cabinet and took out his property deed. He planned to go to the bank and mortgage his house. Although his parents died early, they left him 5 million yuan in funds. And a house, as well as 2 commercial properties. Just by collecting rent, he could live a carefree life. He seemed like an orphan, but in reality, Su Yang was not short of money at all. That's why Cui Qingxue would ask for 50,000. With so many supplies to hoard, a few million in cash would definitely not be enough. So he would mortgage the house to get more money first. Anyway, in a month, all 7 billion people worldwide would be pulled into the Doomsday world to survive. Even keeping the house would be useless. Soon, Su Yang arrived at the bank. "Hello, Mr. Su, I'm Li Yueying, manager of the loan department." A young woman in a business suit, whose looks were no less than Cui Qingxue's, asked him very politely, "May I ask how much money Mr. Su needs, and what will be used as collateral?" Seeing the other party so young yet holding a manager position, Su Yang was first surprised. To reach a manager position so young, she must have worked tirelessly day and night. It's just a pity. I wonder what kind of inhuman torment she will suffer once she enters the Doomsday world. Su Yang sighed in his heart. Then he returned to normal, and answered with a smile, "Houses and commercial properties. See how much these things can be mortgaged for, as much as possible." He directly placed the 3 property deeds in front of the other party. Li Yueying opened the property deeds and glanced at them, revealing a professional smile. Although Mr. Su's house is not in the core business district of this city, its location is also good. At the same time, the 2 commercial properties are also in excellent locations. The house was bought for over 12 million, and its current valuation is also 10 million. As for the 2 commercial properties, one is valued at 20 million, and the other at 17 million. We can mortgage the house at 80% of its valuation, which means you can mortgage 8 million. And for the commercial properties, we can do 70% of their valuation. In other words, your one property plus 2 commercial properties can be mortgaged for a total of 33.9 million. Good. Su Yang nodded. Let's proceed with this, handle the procedures. How many days will it take for the money to be transferred to my card? This amount was roughly what he had estimated. Su Yang only cared about when the money would reach his hands. After all, the sooner the better, time waits for no one. Your credit is excellent, and the collateral is high-quality assets, so funds can generally be approved within 3 to 5 business days. Li Yueying picked up the property deeds, began to photocopy them, and then asked, "May I ask, what do you need so much money for?" This was a normal bank procedure. They would usually ask about the source and purpose of the funds. However, this wasn't very important, since the assets were mortgaged. The bank wasn't afraid of him defaulting. They would just take the collateral, and they wouldn't lose anything. I'm planning to open a company for investments recently. Su Yang casually made up a reason. As expected, the other party nodded after hearing it, understood. Then she printed out Su Yang's ID card and other materials together. She began to sign the mortgage contract. Although over 30 million, nearly 40 million, was unattainable for most people, for him, who urgently needed to hoard a large amount of supplies, it was completely insufficient. He still needed to get more money as quickly as possible. Fortunately, although mortgaging at the bank required bringing the property deed, it didn't require leaving the original document, only a photocopy was sufficient. This way, he had the capital to borrow again. However, this time it couldn't be a bank. After all, bank systems and credit information were interconnected. So after leaving the bank, Su Yang went straight to the city's largest private lending company. While these private lending companies offer significantly smaller loan amounts compared to banks, their interest rates are very high. However, the advantage lies in their quick disbursement of funds, which is quite appealing. Young man, if you need so much money, why not use your assets as collateral at a bank? The owner of the lending company carefully examined the 3 property deeds and asked, "These assets of yours are quite valuable, nearly 40 million. Our small company can't produce that much money all at once." Su Yang looked at the man, a cold sneer forming in his heart. It truly is a small world, isn't it? He knew the burly man in front of him, and knew him very well. This person was Zhao Hong, and in the Doomsday world, he was in the same area as Su Yang. Relying on a handgun and a few subordinates, he had been tyrannical and overbearing from the moment he entered the Doomsday world. He had robbed many people of their hard-earned supplies. One must remember that in the early stages of the Doomsday world, everyone only had a machete. They were all diligently chopping wood to reinforce and upgrade their small wooden cabins. The appearance of a firearm was like a depth charge. It terrified everyone, making them tremble. They could only obediently hand over their meager supplies. After entering the Doomsday world, Su Yang had been bullied by him countless times. He had also been robbed of his painstakingly collected supplies countless times, and was even coerced into doing a lot of manual labor for him. He had almost died at his hands several times. Fortunately, he managed to escape in the end. And Zhao Hong and his subordinates were killed in a conflict with the natives of that world. Only then were the people in that area finally liberated. He hadn't expected that Zhao Hong was the owner of this lending company. In that world, the law of the jungle was an eternal truth. Everyone believed in the rule of the jungle. Even Zhao Hong's actions in the Doomsday world were considered normal. Su Yang didn't harbor much hatred for Zhao Hong, but when he saw him again, the murderous intent in his heart was still somewhat uncontrollable. "It seems I came to the right place today. If I don't fleece you, who will?" Su Yang chuckled inwardly. "First, I'll get a sum of money from you, and then I'll kill you once I enter the Doomsday world." Seeing his enemy sitting alive right in front of him, he felt like killing him. However, his face remained expressionless. Getting money was the priority. "The bank's approval time is too slow. I can't wait." Su Yang replied with a smile, "I need the money today, so after inquiring around, I learned that Mr. Zhao has substantial financial resources. That's why I came to you. It's all thanks to everyone's kind words." Zhao Hong burst out laughing. "You're not telling the truth, are you?" Zhao Hong's expression suddenly changed, his eyes gleaming with sharp light, and he said sternly, "For someone like you, with no prior loan history but so many high-quality assets, banks love that. They would approve the funds for you at the fastest possible speed. Young man, you're not thinking of getting a loan from the bank first, then coming to me for another sum, and then running away, are you?" Slap. Zhao Hong slapped the table and stood up abruptly. "Kid, you've got some nerve trying to swindle me. Go ask around on the streets who I, Mr. Zhao, am." With a whoosh, several burly men surrounded Su Yang. Looking at their furious expressions, as if they had him cornered, Su Yang remained calmly seated in his chair, not even raising an eyelid. Which private lending company doesn't have ties to the underworld? Their backing forces are not small. Some even have blood on their hands. Their aggressive demeanor was very intimidating, and if it were an ordinary person, they would have been scared senseless on the spot. However, Su Yang had been through so much in the Doomsday world, he wasn't someone to be trifled with. He wasn't afraid of these people at all. Even if their acting was superb, and it didn't even look like acting, he could see through it at a glance. Zhao Hong had just put on a furious, menacing act. It was nothing more than a bluff, trying to intimidate him to see if the money would be lost after being given to him. Su Yang interlaced his fingers and leaned back in his chair. "That's right, I did get a mortgage from the bank," he said bluntly, "but that money hasn't arrived yet, and even if it does, it won't be enough. That's why I came to you, Mr. Zhao. No one said that something already mortgaged can't be mortgaged a second time, did they?" And Su Yang took out a cigarette from his pocket, lit it, and took a puff, then changed the subject. "Mr. Zhao, do you not believe in your own strength, or do you look down on me? Just from rent alone, I earn hundreds of thousands a month. Would I run away? If Mr. Zhao doesn't want to lend to me, I think there are plenty of companies in our city that would be scrambling to lend to me." After speaking, he unhesitatingly stood up, making to collect the property deeds and leave. Zhao Hong waved his hand, signaling his subordinates to step back. The anger on his face disappeared. He then said with a smile, "Mr. Su, please don't be angry. You know, our line of work isn't easy, especially with larger sums of money, the risk is higher. One wrong move and the money might not be recovered. However, I still believe in Mr. Su's sincerity. I can lend to Mr. Su. Although there are many lending companies like ours in our city, very few have more financial strength than us." Indeed, the calmer Su Yang appeared, the more the other party believed him. When money comes knocking, only a fool wouldn't take it. Moreover, Zhao Hong had absolute confidence in himself. No one dared to run away with his money, unless they wanted to be thrown into the river. "Can you lend?" Su Yang glanced at him and asked, "Aren't you afraid I'll run away with your money and you won't get it back?" Yes, we can. Zhao Hong replied cheerfully, "Mr. Su is young and promising. I believe you're not that kind of person. How much do you need, Mr. Su?" 20 million. Su Yang held up 2 fingers and wiggled them in front of him. 20 million was probably the limit for the other party. Any more and they probably wouldn't be able to produce it. That much? Zhao Hong's face showed difficulty. What? Su Yang chuckled, "Don't have it?" Zhao Hong gritted his teeth and stamped his foot. "If it were anyone else asking for 20 million for turnover, I might directly refuse. But since a talented young man like Mr. Su has asked, I'll get it even if I have to break the bank. However, we are a small business, so the term cannot be too long. I can only lend it to you for 1 month, and the interest will also be quite high." "What's the interest?" "For 20 million used for 1 month, you'll need to pay 5 million in interest." Zhao Hong shrugged. "That much? You're even worse than loan sharks." Su Yang exclaimed angrily, "The monthly interest rate is 40%. There's no other way, with high risk, this is the only option." Zhao Hong said helplessly, "Any less, and we wouldn't be able to continue operating. Aren't you afraid that in the end, I won't repay this money?" Su Yang looked at him with a smile and asked, "You know that usury is not recognized by law. Even if you sue in court, it's useless. At most, you can only recover the principal." "Not afraid." Zhao Hong smiled confidently. "As the saying goes, every chicken pees its own way. The court may not recognize it, but we'll use our own methods to make you recognize it." Su Yang was silent for a moment, then gritted his teeth. "All right, transfer the money. Mr. Su, please sign the contract." Zhao Hong brought a contract and placed it in front of him. Although it's not recognized by law, the necessary procedures still need to be followed. Su Yang nodded and decisively signed the contract. At the same time, he listed Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi as emergency contacts, providing their phone numbers, ID numbers, addresses, and photos to Zhao Hong. After the money was accounted for, Su Yang cordially shook hands with the other party. Mr. Zhao, it's a pleasure to cooperate. See you in a month. It's a pleasure to cooperate. Zhao Hong responded with a smile. In a month, you definitely won't be getting your money back. And your life will belong to me. He looked at the other party with a smile, then turned and left. As he left, Zhao Hong thoughtfully had his subordinate deliver the property deed. These items had already been mortgaged at the bank, so there was no use for him to keep them. If the other party truly couldn't repay the money in a month, would they really try to seize the collateral from the bank? Unless he was crazy. Returning the property deed to Su Yang, first, left a good impression on the young man. Perhaps when he needed money in the future, the other party might still remember him. Secondly, it was also a warning to the other party. If he dared to play any tricks or couldn't repay the money by the due date, he was confident he could deal with him. T was best to be honest and not have any other improper thoughts. You guys, follow this kid. Zhao Hong said to several of his subordinates, keep a close eye on him for this month. Once you discover he's leaving the city or makes any unusual moves, notify me immediately. Also, investigate these two people for me. Zhao Hong handed Cui Qingshui and Wang Qi's information to his subordinate. If this kid runs, let his girlfriend and this man pay the debt. The woman will be sold, and the man will be sold to northern Myanmar. Although Zhao Hong was very confident in his abilities, he wasn't a fool. With so much money lent out, if even the slightest problem arose, it would be difficult to recover. As long as he ensured the other party couldn't leave the city, he wasn't afraid of them playing any tricks. Su Yang, who had left the lending company, naturally beamed with joy as he looked at the balance on his phone. At the same time, his mind raced, trying to figure out if there were any other ways to get more money. Oh, right, my two rented shops each have 1 year left on their leases. If I just give them a discount and renew for a long term, wouldn't a large sum of money come in? Thinking of this, Su Yang became even more excited. He immediately took out his phone and called them separately. Upon hearing about the lease renewal, the other parties naturally took it very seriously. After all, these two shops were not only large but also well located. One tenant used it for a large supermarket and the other for a clothing mall. Their businesses were booming, bringing in large sums of money every year. With only 1 year left on their leases, even if the other party didn't contact them, they would contact Su Yang. Although the two shops had different purchase prices when his parents bought them, the rent was the same when they were leased out. Both were 100,000 yuan a month, which was 1.2 million yuan a year. Both parties had rented for 3 years. The total rent combined was 7.2 million yuan. This was why Su Yang had been so confident before, not doing anything. This was also why Cui Qingshui tried so hard to please him. She wanted to get more money from Su Yang. With these two shops, as long as nothing unexpected happened, it would be difficult for him to be poor in this life. This was also the capital his parents left him to establish himself before they passed away. And now it could still play a significant role. Su Yang had no intention of wasting time. He arranged for both parties to meet at the agreed location at the same time. Our lease agreement is expiring in 1 year, and I imagine you all want to renew with me in advance. So, I won't beat around the bush. The rent will remain the same as before, 100,000 yuan a month, which is 1.2 million yuan a year. However, I can give you a discount, 1 million yuan a year will suffice. But I want to sign a 20-year long-term contract with you, and the money must be received today. If you agree, we'll sign the contract now. If not, you'll move out in a year, and I'll find someone else to rent. Su Yang went straight to the point. He didn't believe that with such a favorable price, the other party wouldn't be tempted. A discount of 200,000 yuan a year meant 4 million yuan over 20 years. This was already a significant concession. If it were him, even if his cash flow wasn't very abundant and he couldn't come up with so much money all at once, he would still have to renew the lease, even if it meant selling everything he owned. Moreover, the other party wasn't short on money. Even if their industries didn't do well in the future, the shops were in prime locations. They could still make a profit even if they sublet them. It was just a pity that commercial lease contracts could only be for a maximum of 20 years. If there wasn't this restriction, Su Yang would have dared to lease for 100 years. Anyway, the more money he could get his hands on now, the better. He couldn't worry about anything else. The two individuals were first surprised upon hearing Su Yang's words, then their faces filled with smiles. They hadn't expected the other party not to raise the price but to maintain the previous one. This already surprised them greatly. After all, in China, those who do business like them often encounter landlords who see their tenants' businesses doing too well and take the opportunity to raise rent. Even more so, some landlords would use contract loopholes to drive out tenants and take over the business themselves. Such people were everywhere. The other party not only didn't raise the price but also offered a discount. This young landlord was truly a good person. The way the two looked at Su Yang changed. It was just a bit of a dilemma for them to come up with 20 million yuan each at once. But in an instant, both realized that as long as they signed a long-term lease agreement, they wouldn't have to worry about not making money. At the same time, they would no longer have to worry about the other party taking the opportunity to raise prices in the future. No matter what, they wouldn't lose out. They decisively signed 20-year lease agreements with Su Yang. Another 40 million yuan was deposited, making him feel even more confident. Now, 60 million yuan in cash was already sitting in his account. Adding the more than 33 million yuan from mortgaging the property at the bank in a few days, plus his own 5 million yuan, it would be nearly 100 million yuan in total. If all of it were converted into supplies, he wouldn't be able to finish it in dozens of lifetimes. With so much money, of course, he went shopping. After a quick lunch, Su Yang rushed to a large supermarket. He began to procure items extensively. Since he didn't know if his space had preservation effects, most of the items he purchased this time were those that wouldn't spoil easily and could be stored for a long time. For example, instant noodles, self-heating hot pots, compressed biscuits, canned goods, and so on. He bought several large carts full. He also bought a lot of tobacco and alcohol. These two items were hard currency in the apocalypse. Especially cigarettes, one pack could be exchanged for several beautiful women. Naturally, they were essential. Su Yang asked the supermarket staff to help deliver the several large carts of goods to his home. At the same time, he swept through various cigarettes and alcohol at convenience stores and liquor stores along the way. Several large trucks drove directly into the residential complex. For so many items, Su Yang didn't even ask them to move them into his house. Firstly, it was too time-consuming, and secondly, there was too much. Even if the house was big, it couldn't hold everything. After having them drive the trucks into the underground garage and unload the items, Su Yang observed carefully for a while. After confirming there were no people or cameras in the underground garage, he decisively opened the space gate and put all the items inside. Clapping his hands, Su Yang returned home, satisfied. He sat quietly on the sofa, once again deep in thought. How can I get as much money as possible? That's right. Su Yang's eyes lit up. Aren't there also small loans? These things harm people deeply, and today, he must teach them a good lesson for the sake of the vast number of people. No sooner said than done. Su Yang directly opened a certain shopping app and went through all the Huabei, Jibei, and net business loans. Because Su Yang's credit was excellent, his limits were all very high. He managed to get over 3 million just from that one app. Was it over after just this one? Certainly not. He then immediately opened WeChat and various other apps, going through all the small loans he could get. For 3 whole hours, Su Yang managed to pull out 10 million from them. Although 10 million wasn't much for him now, it was already a lot to get that amount from small loans. Even so, he had to go through hundreds of platforms to get that money. His hands were almost numb. Anyway, he didn't plan to repay a single cent of this money. A month later, all 7 billion people on Earth would be transported to the Doomsday world. So what if his credit was ruined, even if he became a blacklisted individual? Su Yang felt that the other party's collection calls would definitely not be able to reach him. Of course, when taking out the online loans, the emergency contact numbers he filled in were still Cui Shui and Wang Qi. Although doing so might not make the other party pay any significant price, it was a small bit of mischievous fun. After finishing all this, it was already past 6 in the evening. Su Yan looked at the time and felt it was about right. He directly opened the space gate and took out the hot water, cold water, fish, shrimp, and fruit he had put in earlier. The hot water placed in the space in the morning was still steaming hot when taken out now. He quickly took out a thermometer to test it. The hot water was still 100 degrees, just as it was when first put in. And the cup of 36-degree cold water was still 36 degrees. As for the fish, shrimp, and fruit, they were still as fresh as when they were first placed in the space. Fresh as new, with even a few drops of water still on one apple. This means that the space can not only preserve freshness but also keep items in their original state. If it's hot when put in, it's still hot when taken out. If it's cold originally, it's still cold when taken out. Even food doesn't need to worry about spoiling because time within the space is static. It doesn't matter how long it's stored. Except for not being able to store living things, this space is simply perfect. This discovery almost made Su Yang exclaim. After once again trying to calm his emotions, an invisible space gate, visible only to him, appeared, and he quickly put those items back in. With the characteristics of this space, I can accumulate a large amount of freshly prepared food. A slight smile played on Su Yang's lips, and he immediately picked up the phone to call a 5-star hotel in his city. Hello, I want to order food. Yes, 200 tables. Prepare it according to your hotel's highest standard. Money is not an issue, I'll pay a deposit first. Once it's ready, please pack it up and send it to my home. After taking care of one, he started ordering again. He stopped only after ordering from all the 5-star hotels in his city. Then he quickly called for an ultimate luxury takeout. Anyway, he had plenty of money now and could spend it freely. After eating his fill, Su Yang took out paper and pen, carefully writing down his upcoming plans. After his rebirth, he was surprisingly calm. At the same time, his thoughts were very clear. The things needed for survival in the Doomsday world must be very comprehensive. So he needed a very detailed list. For example, various tools and weapons. Among them, weapons were of paramount importance, no less crucial than food and water. When there was no shortage of supplies, the most important thing to consider was one's own safety. After all, the longer one stayed in the apocalypse, the more distorted human minds became. Infighting would naturally occur. Even from the very beginning, the moment the law became ineffective, everyone would become extremely dangerous. At the same time, they would also face the harsh apocalyptic environment, and the beasts and natives of that world were very dangerous. Therefore, weapons not only had to be present but also sufficient and strong. Strong enough to resolve all dangers, and strong enough that no one would dare to provoke him. If anyone dared to threaten him, he would directly kill them. After finishing the plan for the next month, Su Yang reviewed it again. Finding no omissions, he memorized everything listed on the paper and then burned it directly. He let out a long breath, went to the bedroom, and immediately fell asleep. After such a long time in the incredibly cruel Doomsday world, he had never had a good night's sleep. This time, he slept exceptionally soundly. When he woke up, it was already 8 o'clock the next morning. After washing up, Su Yang went out again. He went to the underground garage, got into his BMW. He drove out of the community with a foot on the accelerator, heading straight for the hardware city. This time, he wanted to stock up on enough survival tools. For example, axes, knives, as well as stoves, electric saws, and some small tools. After buying some from each store and spending another large sum of money, Su Yang did not have them delivered to his residential community this time. Instead, he specifically had the items sent to a temporarily rented warehouse. After all, this was more discreet and less likely to arouse suspicion. After the people left, he once again put the items into the space. Su Yang drove out again. This time, he went directly to a 4S store, first ordering a high-power, high-performance off-road vehicle. Then he ordered an RV. He found the largest modification shop in the city and had them start the modifications. With these things, Su Yang then went to the agricultural machinery market and bought several excavators, dump trucks, and cargo vehicles. He also bought several passenger cargo dual-use vehicles. At the same time, he even bought 4 or 5 cranes. These things might not seem very important. Only he, who had struggled for so long in the Doomsday world, knew that these things were indispensable. At least they could save a lot of manpower. When upgrading the safe house, having these things would make it even more effective. Next was stocking up on coal. After all, after entering the Doomsday world, the first apocalyptic environment experienced was extreme cold. Heating was indispensable, so coal was the most effective. Through a Baidu search, Su Yang found the largest coal sales base in his city. With a grand gesture, he bought out all the coal in the other party's warehouses. Truckloads of coal were all pulled into the warehouse he rented and then individually put into his space. With vehicles, gasoline was indispensable. However, it was not easy to obtain large quantities of this in China. If one didn't drive and went to a gas station to buy gasoline, they couldn't buy it without leaving their ID card, phone number, name, and purpose. Even if all the information and purpose were left, not much could be bought. 100 yuan's worth was the maximum. If he went from one gas station to another, he would be exhausted, and it would be too time-consuming. However, Su Yang had no worries. At worst, he would go to the Middle East, where there were oil fields everywhere. He could open the space and collect as much as he wanted. Oh, I almost forgot. Su Yang slapped his forehead, suddenly thinking of a problem. In the extreme cold environment, with snow everywhere, it would be almost impossible to go out without a snowmobile. I must get this too. Although he had already bought an off-road vehicle, it could still move in the snow. However, compared to a snowmobile, an off-road vehicle is significantly inferior in terms of driving speed, comfort, and functionality when navigating deep snow. He immediately drove to a company that sold motorcycles. After spotting a motorcycle priced at 500,000, with a top speed of 200 km per hour and an acceleration of 0-100 meters in 3 seconds, he directly ordered 10 units. Having money means having confidence. A mere 5 million was just a drop in the bucket for him now. It's better to buy a few more for backup, just in case. He had them transported to the warehouse again, then eagerly put them into his space. After acquiring the snowmobiles, Su Yang went to a company that sold drones. Currently, various industries in China are flourishing, and many technological fields are leading the world. Drones are among the best, with no competitors internationally. Drones, normally, seem to be used only for performances, or for aerial photography enthusiasts to use for recreation. They are not very useful for ordinary people. But this thing is actually very useful. Not to mention military drones, which can not only reconnaissance but also be used to kill enemies. Of course, ordinary people cannot buy these. But some civilian functions are also very powerful. Especially some medium and large models, which can be used not only for spraying pesticides. They can also be used for delivering food and transporting goods. In other places, some people use drone swarms combined with active phased array radar to drive away wild boars to protect their crops. It's very effective and fully automated. As soon as wild boars approach, the active phased array radar will alarm, and the drone swarm will automatically take off. It's just that many people don't know about it. Especially in the Doomsday world, their role is even greater. Especially the active phased array radar, which can be placed outside the safe house. As long as an enemy approaches, it will automatically alarm. Su Yang didn't want to live in fear every night. With these things, he could completely prevent problems before they arose. Safety is guaranteed, and he can also sleep soundly every night. Moreover, those small drones can also be used for reconnaissance of terrain and enemy situations. Arriving at the drone company, Su Yang only asked the other party 3 questions he was most concerned about. First, can these drones still transmit captured images or videos without a network? Second, can these drones still be used normally in temperatures as low as -40 or 50 degrees Celsius, or as high as 40 or 50 degrees Celsius? Third, if the active phased array radar cannot receive satellite signals, can it still perform its detection and early warning functions? After all, there are no signals or satellites in the Doomsday world, and these electronic devices on Earth all need signals for transmission. If they can't be used, these things are worse than trash in the Doomsday world. Why bother buying them? Sir, please rest assured, our drones and active phased array radars are equipped with 2 sets of systems. One set can be used when there is a network or satellite signal. The other set carries its own local area network. As long as these devices are set up in advance, even without a network or satellite signal, they can still operate effectively, and their functions are not reduced at all. Transmitting images and pictures, as well as providing early warnings, are all fine. Also, our drones are not affected by either low or high temperatures, and their battery life is very long. Quality is absolutely guaranteed. After receiving a satisfactory answer, Su Yang directly ordered hundreds of sets. There were microclusters composed of a dozen drones, and small drone clusters composed of dozens. There were also large clusters composed of hundreds of drones. And even large clusters of thousands of drones. Each cluster was equipped with a set of active phased array radar and receiving equipment. At the same time, Su Yang also ordered many medium and large drones to carry or drop things. The purpose was to see if he could get some bombs or guns, which he could modify later to deal with enemies. It has to be said that domestic prices are low, buying so many drones only cost a few million. If this were abroad, it would cost an exorbitant amount. And the quality wouldn't be as good either. After buying them, it was the same old routine, have them sent directly to the warehouse. He then stored them in his space. With these drones, it was time to start stocking up on some complementary items, like generators and solar panels. These drones consume a lot of power. If there's no electricity, they'll become one-time use items. Since generators and solar panels were stocked, some necessary household appliances also needed to be acquired. Things like refrigerators, televisions, and washing machines are indispensable. Water heaters, microwaves, and ovens were also prepared. The main focus was on enjoyment and refined living. After finishing these, Su Yang got straight to the point and began to stockpile materials extensively. Clothing, down jackets, cotton coats, shirts, t-shirts, assault jackets, swimsuits, underwear, briefs, menswear, women's wear, everything imaginable. Footwear, slippers, flats, board shoes, sports shoes, hiking boots, outdoor shoes, as well as cold-resistant and high-temperature-resistant shoes, all were well-stocked. Also, various quilts, as well as beds, mattresses, sofas, seats, stools, pots, bowls, and various seasonings were all purchased in complete sets. Salt is also indispensable in the apocalypse. Without salt, everything tastes like chewing wax, and the human body cannot endure long periods without it. White sugar is also a necessity. If he couldn't get bombs, he could make his own. As the saying goes, 1 sulfur, 2 nitrates, 3 charcoals, plus white sugar, a big Ivan. Moreover, white sugar is a high-calorie item that can help people recover strength and condition when extremely hungry. It can also be used for disinfection when suffering from external injuries. So white sugar is also a necessity. Although he had a large amount of food and water stockpiled and might not need it, it was better to be prepared. However, both salt and sugar are controlled by the state, especially sugar, which is a strategic material. Su Yang dared not buy too much in one place, as it could easily arouse suspicion. It would be troublesome if he was investigated and arrested. He could only tirelessly purchase from one place to another. After finishing these daily necessities, the day passed. Although exhausted, Su Yang was happy and enjoyed it. He roughly calculated that he had spent over 20 million today. He still had about 50 million in cash. Although these things were not as important as food and water, they could guarantee his quality of life in the Doomsday world. Su Yang did not feel any heartache spending money on this. He checked the time, it was already 8 in the evening. Cui Qingxue had not contacted him actively since leaving yesterday morning, 2 days ago. Su Yang guessed it was probably because he hadn't given her money yesterday, and she was still sulking. She wanted him to admit his mistake first and beg her. Such things had happened many times before. But for him now, it didn't matter anymore. He was happy to be rid of the sight of this malicious woman. He also enjoyed the ease and freedom. More importantly, if she wasn't around, it would give him more time to hoard supplies. He didn't want his secrets to be known by her. Nor did he want her to hinder his progress in hoarding supplies. It was still the same saying, if he had the conditions, he would ruthlessly deal with her. If not, after entering the Doomsday world, he would have plenty of time to make that bitch wish she were dead. Sleep, continue tomorrow. He once again blissfully entered dreamland. Time passed quickly, and a new day arrived again. After washing up, he ate a simple meal. Su Yang immediately began hoarding goods without stopping. The things he hoarded yesterday could only be considered tools to cope with the harsh environment of the Doomsday world. The truly important things were food and water. Especially food, it had to be particular. It had to be fresh, delicious, nutritionally balanced, and rich in variety. High-protein, quick-energy meats like chicken, duck, fish, pork, beef, and lamb had to be hoarded in large quantities. He ordered 10,000 catties of freshly slaughtered meat for each type. The machines in the major slaughterhouses were grinding out sparks. Su Yang also selectively hoarded a lot of seafood. For example, crabs, salmon, bluefin tuna, lobsters, as well as abalone and oysters. Especially oysters, they were cheap and very nourishing. They were called the man's gas station and the woman's beauty salon. Su Yang vaguely remembered that when he was in college, a classmate's family went out fishing. He and 2 other roommates went to his house as guests. The 4 of them ate a whole pot of oysters. There were at least a few hundred of them. At first, they didn't feel anything, but by night, the 4 young men were incredibly energetic. They took dozens of cold showers, but it was useless. They couldn't sleep all night. They almost went crazy from being pent up. It had to be said, the effect was truly powerful. In the Doomsday world, women were everywhere, and for his own happiness and to maintain a good physique, he definitely needed to hoard more. Even if he hoarded less of other things, oysters could not be scarce. Damn, is this kid engaging in revenge spending? The people sent by Zhao Hong, seeing Su Yang just buying and buying after getting the money these past few days, were shocked and felt a bad premonition. He whispered, if he keeps spending like this, 2 million will be gone in a few days. How will he pay back the money then? What does it have to do with us? Another subordinate sneered. When the deadline comes, if he can pay back the money, all will be well. If he can't, we'll take his kidneys and sell them to northern Myanmar. Our mission is just to ensure this kid doesn't disappear from this city within this month. It's as if we'd benefit if he paid back the principal and interest. Although these few people had followed Zhao Hong through thick and thin for many years, the lion's share was always taken by him. They could only watch him enjoy the good life. They couldn't even get soup, occasionally gnawing on bones was already good enough. Thinking of this, the 4 of them felt a bit resentful. They stopped talking, only taking turns to watch Su Yang. No matter what he bought or how much he spent, they didn't interfere at all. They just watched him spend money like water, and the 4 of them cast envious glances. Su Yang subtly glanced at the 4 of them. A slight smile played on his lips. With his vigilance, how could he not know someone was following him? He had noticed these 4 people when he came out of Zhao Hong's company. He just hadn't bothered with them. After all, these few people were definitely going to be killed. Who told them they were Zhao Hong's subordinates? In the Doomsday world, they had also frequently taken advantage of Zhao Hong's power to trip him up. Moreover, after entering the Doomsday world, Zhao Hong had guns. Even if he could get a gun, it would be a high risk to fight 1 against 5. So Su Yang planned to eliminate these 4 people before being pulled into the Doomsday world. But not now, he didn't want to prematurely bear the burden of human lives and be punished by law. Otherwise, all his efforts made in the early stages to enter the Doomsday world would be in vain. Besides, these few people were still useful for now. So he would let them live a few more days. After Su Yang finished hoarding the seafood he wanted, he began to hoard water on a large scale. He didn't miss any bottled water. The source of life, the more of this stuff, the better. He also bought a lot of vegetables and fruits. For the entire morning, Su Yang was busy running back and forth between major supermarkets, vegetable markets, and fruit wholesale bases. And Zhao Han's 4 subordinates followed him like dogs. They were being given quite a runaround. Just as Su Yang was about to find a place to rest and eat, he inadvertently saw Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi walking hand in hand on the street. These two scumbags aren't even hiding it anymore, are they? I was just wondering how to deal with you two, and now the opportunity has presented itself. Su Yang's eyes darted around, and a plan came to mind. He walked directly to the car of Zhao Han's subordinates. Thump thump. He knocked twice. The car window slowly lowered. Who the hell is knocking on my car window? I'll break your dog legs. Before the word legs was out, a subordinate in the passenger seat saw that the person was Su Yang. A trace of panic flashed in his eyes, then he smiled and greeted, Mr. Su, what a coincidence, are you also here to shop? Stop pretending. Su Yang said bluntly, you've been following me for 2 days, don't tell me you thought I didn't know. Mr. Su took our boss's money, so doing this is just for insurance. Although the 4 were a bit embarrassed, their attitude remained strong. After all, their boss was his creditor, and they were all hardened. They didn't take Su Yang seriously. So what if they openly followed him? It was only right to pay back debts, and they hadn't done anything excessive. They were just afraid he would run away, which was perfectly in line with the rules of the underworld. Enough nonsense. Su Yang said directly, do you want to take a job? What job? The subordinate in the passenger seat asked cautiously. We are all law-abiding citizens, we don't do anything illegal. I know you're all enthusiastic, good citizens. Su Yang said irritably, I won't make you break the law. Do you see those 2 people? Su Yang asked, pointing to Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi in the crowd. The 4 looked at them and found them increasingly familiar. They just couldn't remember where they had seen them. Don't bother thinking. Su Yang said faintly, the woman is my girlfriend Cui Qingxue, and the man is my friend Wang Qi. You've all seen their photos, remember now? In reality, Wang Qi was not Su Yang's friend at all. He was just Cui Qingxue's high school classmate. The only reason the 2 knew each other was because of Cui Qingxue. When Su Yang left an emergency contact number for the loan from Zhao Han, he told the other party that he and Wang Qi were good friends. He only told these 4 people that to avoid being exposed. Holy crap, Mr. Su, your girlfriend is even more stunning than in the photos. The 4 henchmen had lecherous grins on their faces and spoke without restraint. Look at that face, those breasts, that waist, those legs, so smooth, so soft. Did I tell you to comment on her? Su Yang's eyes turned cold. My apologies, it's just a habit. We always like to make a few comments when we see a stunning beauty. The henchman in the passenger seat immediately waved his hand and apologized profusely. Although he said he was sorry, there was no hint of apology on his face. His eyes were fixed on Cui Qingxue. He wished he could pluck out his eyeballs and put them on her. Su Yang, however, didn't care much about that. His private property had become public, so what if others looked at it a few times? That's not right, Mr. Su. The henchman in the passenger seat looked at Su Yang playfully and pointed at him, saying, your girlfriend is holding hands with that Wang Qi, and they're so intimate. You've been cheated on. The other 3 immediately poked their heads out of the car window and looked closely. Then they made clicking sounds with their mouths. Their gazes towards Su Yang immediately changed. These 2 scoundrels. Su Yang feigned extreme resentment and cursed, I treated Cui Qingxue so well, and I considered Wang Qi my best friend. I didn't expect these 2 to betray me. Bang! He kicked the car's wheel hub. Under the immense force, the entire car shook violently. It startled the 4 men. After taking a deep breath, Su Yang's emotions began to stabilize. Sorry, I lost control of my emotions just now. Su Yang looked at the 4 men and said, let's not talk about these unhappy things. I came to find you this time because I want you to help me teach these 2 scoundrels a lesson. This is still called not breaking the law? The four men seemed a bit reluctant. Although they often did shady things, these were always done without outsiders knowing. Mr. Su, isn't that a bit much? The henchman in the passenger seat said apologetically, these two are your emergency contacts. If you don't repay the money in a month, we'll still have to fine them to settle the debt. Besides, we are law-abiding citizens and cannot engage in fights. Not only would we face legal sanctions, but we wouldn't be able to get past our boss either. If Boss Zhao found out about this, he'd skin us alive. 50,000 per person. Su Yang said simply and directly. The four men's eyes showed greedy glances, then immediately returned to normal. The henchman in the passenger seat replied with an embarrassed expression, Mr. Su, you're inciting us to break the law. No, we need more money. 100,000 per person, take it or leave it. Su Yang said, there's no risk, and you get money. I'm sure many people would jump at the chance. After speaking, he turned to leave. Mr. Su, we'll do it. The four men couldn't hold back when they saw him about to leave. Under the temptation of money, they quickly agreed, Mr. Su, just tell us how to deal with these two scoundrels, and we'll do exactly as you say. Su Yang chuckled and pointed at Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi, saying, later, you get out of the car and secretly follow behind me. I'll go up first to attract their attention, and you take the opportunity to beat them both up. The harder you hit them, the better, and you must make a big scene so they can't show their faces again. Can't we take them to a secluded place before acting? The four men said with some concern, making too big a scene would be very unfavorable for us. Don't worry, that bitch Cui Qingxue is with me mainly because she's after my money. Su Yang sneered, even if she gets beaten up and humiliated, she wouldn't dare to make a big deal out of it. Wang Qi's goal is also the same, he'll have to endure no matter how much he's provoked. They wouldn't dare call the police. If I get arrested, their goal of making money would fall through. Even if some bystanders call the police, and the police arrive, Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi wouldn't dare to press charges. Unless they don't want to get more money from me. At that time, the police will only make us reconcile, and you will naturally be cleared of everything. They'll have to swallow this silent loss, and the beating will be for nothing. After hearing Su Yang's plan, the four men's mouths stretched into wide smiles. Mr. Su, you play so dirty. They couldn't help but admire him. This kid was ruthless. Even people like them, who operated in the shadows, didn't play as dirty as he did. He truly was a talent. All right. Su Yang waved his hand, hurry up and get out of the car. Watch my signal later. After the four men got out of the car, they followed Su Yang towards Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi. My dear, it's been 2 days, why are you still so down? Wang Qi asked the somewhat unhappy Cui Qingxue, did that bastard Su Yang make you angry again? The day before yesterday, that idiot wouldn't even give me 50,000 yuan. Cui Qingxue said angrily, I don't know what kind of tantrum he's throwing now. He even said all his funds were used for investments and that he's tight on cash now. He's just an idiot, what does he know about investing? Who's he trying to fool? That good-for-nothing Su Yang didn't give you money? Wang Qi grew anxious after hearing this, how can that be? No wonder you've been so stingy with spending money these past 2 days. So that's why. Not giving money won't do. I just saw a phone I liked for over 10,000 yuan. Doesn't that mean it's all going to fall through now? Quickly call that kid and ask him for it. Call my ass. Cui Qingxue complained, I think his attitude is very firm this time, and he even mentioned you. He told me to borrow money from you. Do you think that idiot has realized something? Could he have found out about us? How is that possible? That kid, besides being lucky and having a lot of inheritance from his parents, has no brains at all. How could he possibly discover our affair? If he were going to find out, he would have already. It wouldn't be just now that he's sensing something. I estimate Su Yang might really be making an investment. Wang Qi pouted, his face full of disdain. Oh, right. As if he suddenly remembered something, he quickly said to Cui Qingxue, we can't let that brainless idiot invest all the money. If he really invests it all, wouldn't he lose everything with his IQ? My dear, you need to contact him quickly and find a way to make him withdraw the funds. Our happiness for the rest of our lives still depends on that kid. Why should I contact him? Cui Qingxue said haughtily. Before, when I pretended to be angry and ignored him, he would always come apologizing to me within a day. Why should I actively contact him? That's not right. Cui Qingxue, realizing belatedly, looked at Wang Qi and asked suspiciously, I've noticed why you're so concerned about money, and I've become secondary? Have you considered my feelings? Are you happy watching me sleep with others and be played with? Faced with Cui Qingxue's barrage of questions, Wang Qi felt a headache coming on. Damn it, if I'm not doing it for money, am I doing it for you? Although you have some looks, after having money, what kind of woman can I find? He dared not truly voice these thoughts he had in his mind. No such thing. Wang Qi said with a serious expression, quickly explaining, isn't this me thinking about our future? Su Yang is such a high-quality, brainless sugar daddy, if we don't reel him in, are we just going to let someone else get the benefit? I'm just afraid you'll be played for nothing and end up getting nothing. Wouldn't that be a huge loss? The person who wants to take advantage of me for free hasn't been born yet. Cui Qingxue snorted, Su Yang is just my plaything. Don't worry, my dear, as long as I wear my black stockings, suspenders, and small leather skirt combo tonight, I guarantee he'll be completely obedient. That brainless idiot falls for that every time. Making him withdraw the invested funds will be a piece of cake. And I can also get a lot of money from him. Good, good, good. Wang Qi laughed loudly. However, his heart was a mix of emotions. He had never enjoyed such a one-stop service. Indeed, comparing goods makes you want to throw them away, and comparing people makes you want to die. Just as the two were walking hand in hand, chatting and laughing, continuing their shopping, Su Yang suddenly darted out. He cursed, you slut, I was so good to you, and you're still hooking up with other men outside. Slap. A hard slap landed on Cui Qingxue's face. Before she could react, he slapped her again with his other hand. Two hard slaps directly stunned Cui Qingxue. Her eyes were completely vacant, and she stood there dazed. She had completely forgotten what had happened. Wang Qi, on the other hand, reacted very quickly as soon as he saw Su Yang. He immediately let go of Cui Qingxue's hand and explained, Brother Su, don't misunderstand. Before he could finish speaking, Su Yang went up and slapped him across the face. Then he kicked him in the stomach. He kicked Wang Qi to the ground. He cursed, I treated you like a brother, but you slept with my woman, you damn dog. Wang Qi clutched his stomach, his body hunched over like a shrimp. The pain in his stomach made him break out in a cold sweat. But he still wanted to explain. He didn't want Su Yang to know about him and Cui Qingxue being together. Otherwise, it would be difficult for Cui Qingxue to get money from the other party in the future. Misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? Su Yang shouted indignantly, I saw it clearly, you two were not only holding hands, but also whispering sweet nothings. Anyone who didn't know would think you were a couple. You dog, still dare to quibble, watch me stomp your mouth to a pulp. He went up and stomped on Wang Qi's mouth. Ah! The other party only managed to let out a miserable scream. Both his upper and lower lips swelled up like sausages. At the same time, a size 44 shoe print appeared on his face. He looked extremely disheveled. It hurt so much that he wanted to shout to vent and alleviate the pain. But he found he couldn't open his mouth at all, only muffled groans could escape his throat. He kept rolling on the ground, in unbearable pain. Only then did Cui Qingxue come to her senses. Her face was incredibly pale. Her eyes darted around, not daring to look directly at Su Yang. But she still bit the bullet and explained, Darling, it's not what you think. We just happened to meet while shopping and chatted about some everyday things. Shut your damn mouth. Su Yang roared, and another slap landed on Cui Qingxue's face. He hit her until her face looked like a pig's head, and he said sharply, Do you really think I'm blind? No wonder I haven't seen you or been able to contact you for almost 3 days. So you were secretly getting together with this dog. Watch me give you a good beating. Slap, slap, slap. Another flurry of punches and kicks landed on her body. Cui Qingxue wailed incessantly. Su Yang didn't care about the men shouldn't hit women rule. Even if he was criticized by many boxing-loving young women, even if he was cyber-bullied by the other party, he didn't care. In his previous life, he was killed by this woman, Cui Qingxue, and brutally dismembered. Was it too much to beat her up? Su Yang felt it wasn't too much at all. Such an incident happening on the street immediately attracted a large crowd of onlookers. Upon learning what Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi had done, many people pointed fingers at the two. Some even applauded, serves them right. Such adulterers, a beating is light punishment. What kind of ability is it for a big man like you to hit a woman? Don't you have any magnanimity as a man? Where is your generosity? Why are you so narrow-minded? What kind of man can't even tolerate his own woman? Putting aside the facts, don't you have any fault? Sure enough, there were still little fairies in the crowd. Faced with such a statement, Su Yang was unmoved. But because the other party was too emotional, everyone watching the show heard it. They all cast disdainful glances at the little fairy. Knowing she was in the wrong, she quickly took out her phone and snapped a few photos. Then she slinked away. Before leaving, she glanced at Su Yang and the surrounding crowd and said viciously, "Anyone who hits women is no good. This fairy will rally all women online to confront you." After the little fairy left, the onlookers once again started criticizing Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi. They said every nasty thing imaginable, making the two feel utterly humiliated. Especially Wang Qi, who lay motionless on the ground, simply playing dead. But Cui Qingxue appeared incredibly flustered. "No, it's not like that, darling, I love you. I didn't cheat, Wang Qi and I are nothing, we're just ordinary friends. You have to believe me, I'm innocent." Cui Qingxue's voice was tearful, making her sound pitiful. Slap. Another slap landed on her face, making Cui Qingxue stumble. "Who are you trying to fool? Everyone saw it, and you still dare to lie." "Yes, yes, yes." Someone who enjoyed the drama quickly chimed in, "We saw it clearly, this woman and this man are not good people. I even saw them kissing. This brother is really pitiful, he must be very upset. The two of them were holding hands, their behavior was so intimate." An onlooker who saw the truth side, "I originally thought they were a real couple, but I didn't expect them to be out having an affair. And they dared to walk openly on the street, truly a decline in morals and a degeneration of public customs. You have to believe me, darling." Cui Qingxue endured the pain on her body and desperately tried to explain. If Su Yang wasn't rich and profitable, she wouldn't be like this. But to make him believe her, Cui Qingxue could only lie through her teeth. Su Yang pushed her away. He subtly winked at Zhao Hong's four subordinates who were mixed in the crowd. The four understood and immediately rushed out. They arrived beside Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi with angry expressions. They roared, "You cheap woman, our big brother is so excellent, making all sorts of investments for you. He just earned 5 million, and the first thing he did was come here to pick out an expensive gift for you. But you did something like this, are you worthy of his sincere heart?" As he spoke, he gestured towards Cui Qingxue. "And you dog." One person pointed at Wang Qi and cursed, "How dare you, when our big brother treated you like a true brother, and he even wanted to help you out after he made money. Is this how you repay him?" He unceremoniously kicked Wang Qi several times. These words were all agreed upon between Su Yang and the other party just now. Su Yang understood Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi too well. As long as they knew he had a lot of money in his hands, even if they were beaten severely, they wouldn't dare to fall out with him. After all, they always thought they had him wrapped around their finger. To get more money, they would definitely endure the humiliation. The four men continuously punched and kicked the two, who cried out in pain. Although Wang Qi's mouth was kicked by Su Yang and he couldn't speak, Cui Qingxue could still talk. While wailing, she moved towards Su Yang, shouting loudly, "Darling, don't let them hit us. You really misunderstood us. Su Yang saw that they had been beaten enough. He immediately put on a sad face and said to the four brothers, "Thank you for standing up for me. Only now do I understand who true brothers are. Stop hitting them, you'll kill them. Otherwise, you'll face legal consequences. How could I bear it if you went to jail?" His voice was filled with endless sorrow and helplessness, immediately drawing everyone's sympathy. "Brother, we're not afraid," the four responded in unison, pretending to strike Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi again. Under reflex, Cui Qingxue shivered in fright. "But I'm afraid. How can I let my brothers sacrifice so much for me?" Su Yang cried, his voice choked with sobs. "After all, one is the woman I love most, and the other is the brother I trust most. Even if they betrayed me, I don't want to see them hurt. Please spare them." The four nodded and immediately stopped. Even if Su Yang hadn't told them to stop, they would have stopped on their own. If things got too out of hand, and someone was left disabled or died, they wouldn't be able to escape the consequences. Then Su Yang looked at Cui Qingxue again, asking sincerely, "Qingxue, didn't you say I misunderstood you? Can you give me a reasonable explanation? Why were you two so intimate, and why were you holding hands while shopping?" Cui Qingxue felt Su Yang's attitude soften and immediately thought there was hope. She limped with difficulty to Su Yang's side. Zhao Hong's four subordinates immediately carried out the pre-arranged plan. They shouted at the crowd, "Didn't you see our brother needs to talk privately with his girlfriend? Everyone else, leave, disperse." It was clear that the crowd didn't want to leave. They still wanted to watch the show. But when they saw the four fierce-looking men glaring at them, they adopted the mindset that less trouble was better than more. The onlookers immediately dispersed. "Darling, you know Wang Qi and I were high school classmates, and we've always been good friends. When we met, it was natural to chat a bit more. As for your claim of intimate behavior, that's simply nonsense. That was enthusiasm, the enthusiasm of old friends meeting." Cui Qingxue lied without batting an eye, even though she had been beaten badly. The pain in her body almost made her faint, yet she spoke logically and clearly. "Then why were you holding hands, even interlocking fingers?" Su Yang quickly asked. "You can't say I misunderstood you about that, can you?" Upon hearing this, Cui Qingxue's eyes became a little flustered. If intimate gestures could be explained away, holding hands was a concrete fact. Even the best opposite-sex friends, if they hadn't confirmed a romantic relationship, doing so was indeed very inappropriate. Moreover, Cui Qingxue was Su Yang's official girlfriend. It was very difficult to explain. Cui Qingxue was indeed a top-tier green tea and a prime example of a scumbag woman. After a brief moment of panic, she quickly came up with what she considered a reasonable excuse. "The day before yesterday, I saw you weren't in a good mood, so I thought about getting my hair done, getting a beautiful new hairstyle, hoping you'd be happy when you saw it. I told Wang Qi about it, and he said he knew a top hairstylist nearby. He then pulled me to go. Actually, he meant to grab my wrist, but in a hurry, he accidentally grabbed the wrong place, and it ended up being intertwined fingers. You just happened to see it, and that's how this misunderstanding happened." Cui Qingxue sobbed softly, her face full of grievance. Su Yang sneered inwardly, "You bitch, I'll believe you when pigs fly." He looked at her with cold eyes. "Did you really just go to get your hair done, that simple?" Yes, just to get my hair done." Cui Qingxue was startled by his cold gaze, stammering a bit, but quickly returned to normal. "Is that what she said?" Su Yang looked at Wang Qi, who was being held up by Zhao Hong's four subordinates. He had been beaten terribly, covered in blood. Although he couldn't speak, when he heard Su Yang's question, he nodded repeatedly. Su Yang then let out a long breath, feigning heartache as he looked at Cui Qingxue. He said gently, "Why are you so foolish? Why didn't you explain to me sooner? Did you give me time to explain, you bastard? You just kept slapping me several times, completely dazing me." Thinking of this, her whole body ached even more. "If it weren't for your money, I wouldn't bother with you." Cui Qingxue thought to herself, after this farce, Su Yan, this idiot, should rely on me even more, right? After I coax him for a while longer and get full control of his finances, I'll run away with Wang Qi. Then you'll have nothing, worse than a beggar. That'll serve you right. She hated Su Yang to the core, not feeling that she had done anything wrong. Since everything's cleared up, then it's fine. Su Yang quickly interjected, this matter is over, and none of us will bring it up again. To apologize to you, I'll give you a big gift later. Cui Qingshue's eyes lit up when she heard big gift, and even Wang Qi's eyes became sharp. You still have some conscience. I won't hold this against you. Cui Qingxue lightly patted Su Yang's chest and emphasized again, darling, you just need to remember that I will always love only you, and I will never betray you, understand? Su Yang nodded, but his heart remained unmoved. Then he looked apologetically at Wang Qi and said, brother, look at this mess. It was a misunderstanding after all. I'm sorry. It's good that you weren't seriously hurt, otherwise I truly feel bad. I'm really sorry. Now that the misunderstanding is cleared, let's both go home. Lest people laugh at us. Oh, and no holding grudges, okay? Su Yang emphasized again. Are you blind, you bastard? Do I look like I'm not hurt? Wang Qi was almost fuming, cursing inwardly, I was almost beaten to death by you, you idiot, and these blockheads. And you're telling me to go home? I'm so injured, how can I go home alone? Do you think a simple apology can just dismiss me? He felt incredibly miserable. Although he was very unwilling, to avoid affecting Cui Qingshue's plan to get money from Su Yang, Wang Qi still nodded and didn't argue. However, his hatred for Su Yang grew even stronger. Wawa, 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 just as Su Yang was about to leave with Cui Qingxue, a police car drove up from a distance. As expected, a kind citizen had called the police. Seeing the police car approach, the previously dispersed crowd gathered again. Their curiosity for a spectacle was reignited. Although Zhao Hong's four subordinates looked somewhat menacing, with the police present, these people felt much bolder. They once again stood aside, pointing and whispering about Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi. Su Yang glanced at the police car, not showing the slightest panic on his face. Instead, he deliberately looked at Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi and asked, did you two call the police? Cui Qingxue quickly shook her head, no, why would I call the police? It was probably those onlookers. Meanwhile, the moment Wang Qi heard the police siren, a malicious glint flashed in his eyes. He had been beaten almost to a pulp, covered in injuries. If he could use this to extort a sum from the other party, getting tens or even hundreds of thousands for medical expenses, it shouldn't be too much, right? Just as he was secretly gloating, he saw Cui Qingshue's gaze, as if she was reminding him, absolutely do not say that Su Yang hit you. If you accuse Su Yang, street brawling and injuring others is a serious crime. If he goes in, how will we get more money from him in the future? Don't pick up sesame seeds and lose the watermelon. Wang Qi instantly understood and nodded subtly. The police stopped their car and headed straight for Su Yang and his group. After some questioning, they learned the full story. They originally intended to arrest Su Yang and Zhao Hong's four subordinates. However, Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi strongly defended them, saying it was just a misunderstanding between them. They stated they would not pursue any responsibility from them. Then the police questioned several onlookers, and what Su Yang said was largely consistent with what these people said. Furthermore, Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi were one's girlfriend and the other's good friend. This matter could be big or small. If blown up, the other party gathered to beat someone in the street, which not only had a bad impact but also caused significant physical trauma to the victim. If strictly enforced, Su Yang, the mastermind, would be sentenced to at least 3 years and no more than 7 years in prison. But all of this depended on Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi's attitude. If downplayed, it was just a misunderstanding between friends, a minor scuffle. Since Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi, the two victims, did not intend to pursue the other party's responsibility, they would naturally respect the victim's wishes. They would let the two parties resolve it themselves. They would first record the incident and keep a backup. If the two parties couldn't agree and reported it again, it wouldn't be too late for them to intervene. Since that's the case, you can mediate it yourselves, the police said to Su Yang, Cui Qingxue, and Wang Qi. Also, you cannot fight in the street again, it's not only illegal but also has an extremely bad impact. This time, since there was a reason for it, we won't pursue your responsibility. After speaking, they turned around and drove away. Seeing the police leave, the onlookers found it uninteresting. One by one, they began to disperse. Seeing that there were no other people around, Su Yang said to Zhao Hong's four subordinates, "Brothers, thank you for your righteous action today. I almost got you into trouble with the law, you've really worked hard. I have 400,000 here, each of you take 100,000 and find a place to relax properly. Consider it a token of my appreciation, your brother." "Brother Yang, what are you saying?" one of the subordinates said unhappily. "We are brothers, closer than blood brothers. We'd go through fire and water for you. How can we take your money? Besides, aren't you investing in a project recently and in great need of money? We absolutely cannot take this money. If you don't take it, you're looking down on me, not treating me as a brother." Su Yan looked at him unhappily. "The money shortage is a thing of the past. Have you forgotten that my project made money? Now I have tens of millions in cash in my account." As Su Yang spoke, he pulled out his phone and showed them his bank account balance. In fact, he did this precisely for Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi to see. The two of them saw the dense string of zeros and their eyes gleamed with greed. They looked at Su Yang as if he were a massive gold mine. "Then we still can't take it." The four men shook their heads repeatedly, whispering, "Brother Yang, you still have future investments, so you'll definitely be short on money then. If you don't take it, I'll get angry." Su Yang feigned anger. "All right, thank you, Brother Yang." The four men then took out their phones and brought up their QR codes for payment. In front of Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi, he scanned 100,000 yuan to each of them. It must be said that people who have been through the ringer in society are indeed good actors. They completely fooled Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi, making them truly believe that these four people were Su Yang's brothers. They just hadn't met them before. "Brother, I'm sorry about today." Su Yang patted Wang Qi's shoulder and said apologetically, "Qingxue and I have something else to do today, so I won't entertain you. I'll apologize to you next time." With that, he pulled Cui Qingxue and left. That's it? Wang Qi was covered in injuries, standing alone on the street. "The people who hit me each got 100,000, I've been beaten to this state, aren't they giving me anything? Even 50,000 would be fine. Damn it, even if they don't give money, at least take me to the hospital. Who's paying for the treatment?" Facing the pointing and whispering of passers-by, Wang Qi's gaze grew increasingly fierce. He thought to himself, "Su Yang, you just wait, one day I'll make you lose everything. Then I'll ride on your head, piss and shit on you, and thoroughly humiliate you." Seeing that everyone had walked far away and no one looked back, Wang Qi felt helpless. He could only endure the pain in his body, call a taxi, and rush to the hospital. "Darling, aren't you going to give me a gift?" Cui Qingxue looked at Su Yang somewhat strangely and asked, "Why are we at a hotel?" Even though she was in immense pain at the moment, especially with her face bruised and severely swollen, still burning with pain. But when she learned that Su Yang's purpose for coming here today was to buy her an expensive gift, and she also knew that he had tens of millions in his account, and that he was in the wrong for hitting her today, she wouldn't be satisfied until he spent millions on her. Despite the pain from her injuries, she persisted. She followed Su Yang across several roads, feeling like her body was falling apart. She never expected to end up in front of a hotel. This made her very curious. Buying a gift? No rush. Su Yang looked at her and smiled slightly. "You're quite injured today, so let's come here to clean up first. Otherwise, your wounds will get infected." Cui Qingxue thought he had a point and followed Su Yang inside. Soon, the sound of running water came from the bathroom. Cui Qingxue struggled to take off her clothes, looking at her bruised and purple skin and her wounds. Her teeth ground together. Fortunately, the warm water hitting her body eased her pain considerably. It also helped her regain some of her spirits. After an hour of cleaning, Chui Qingxue emerged from the bathroom wrapped in a bathrobe. Su Yang smiled and waved. Come, kneel. Chui Qingxue was stunned. Aren't we going to buy a gift after the shower? What kind of operation is this? Then she saw Su Yang's aggressive and domineering gaze. Kneel. Su Yang emphasized, I'm very angry today. Chui Qingxue immediately understood. You're still hot-tempered? I was almost beaten to death, covered in injuries, and I'm even more hot-tempered. Didn't I say it was a misunderstanding? And I'm the one who was wronged, I'm still the victim, so why does it seem like I need to apologize to you? Chui Qingxue always felt that Su Yang had suddenly changed. As for how he changed, she couldn't quite put her finger on it. In any case, he was much more overbearing and assertive than before. This change made her very uncomfortable. Even though she was furious, in order to achieve her goal, she still knelt down. In an instant, her bathrobe slipped, revealing a large expanse of fair skin. After about 10 minutes, betraying my love, carrying a burden of conscience, a very fitting phone ringtone sounded. Chui Qingxue quickly looked at the phone on the table. When she saw that it was Wang Qi calling, her eyes flickered with panic. Humph, Su Yang let out a cold laugh. His actions showed no sign of stopping. Answer it? Now. Is this really a good time? Chui Qingxue was a bit embarrassed. If I tell you to answer it, then answer it, don't talk so much nonsense. Su Yang feigned anger. Didn't you say it was a misunderstanding before? How is it that less than 2 hours after we separated, that bastard Wang Qi is calling you again? Answer it quickly, I want to see if you two have been doing something unspeakable behind my back. Chui Qingxue was extremely flustered, but she was also afraid that not answering would arouse suspicion again. She could only bite the bullet, pick up the phone, and answer it. Hello Qingxue, where are you now? Wang Qi's somewhat hoarse voice came through the phone. Chui Qingxue, lying on the table, looked back at Su Yang. With one hand holding the phone and the other covering the microphone, she cautiously said, I'm resting, what's up? Quickly transfer some money to me. Wang Qi hurriedly said, I'm still in the hospital, and I need a lot of medical expenses, I don't have enough money. That little bastard Su Yang is really ruthless, he almost beat me to death. I've had a lot of expenses recently, and I don't have enough money, so you can lend me some for now. Phew. After hearing these words, the stone hanging in Chui Qingxue's heart finally dropped. Originally, she was afraid that the other party might accidentally say something they shouldn't. Fortunately, the other party called only to ask for money. That made things much easier. I'm eating spicy strips. Chui Qingxue took a deep breath, trying to make her voice sound calmer. What time is it, and you still have the mood to eat spicy strips? Wang Qi said angrily, quickly transfer the money to me, I'm waiting to pay for medical expenses. Then he hung up the phone. My dear, do you believe me now? Chui Qingxue asked, turning her head with a blush on her face. Su Yang nodded, but you two are still in frequent contact, and why should he call my woman for money? Remember, don't give him a single cent, and don't contact him again in the future. I've disliked him for a long time. Chui Qingxue nodded obediently. An hour later, Su Yang, fully dressed, glanced at the drowsy Chui Qingxue. You rest here first, I have something to go out for. Aren't we going to buy gifts? Chui Qingxue forced herself to perk up and asked, You said you'd buy me a gift today, my dear, you wouldn't go back on your word, would you? You just contacted Wang Qi again, which made me very unhappy. Next time. Su Yang's face was grim, and he opened the door and walked out without looking back. He was the one who called me. Before she could finish speaking, she heard a bang, and the door was closed. And Su Yang had disappeared from the doorway. Bastard! Chui Qingxue clutched the blanket tightly with both hands and cursed, Did you really treat me as a tool to vent your frustrations? I wish you a terrible death. Chui Qingxue, Wang Qi, this is just the beginning. Su Yang's lips curled into a cold smile as he walked out of the hotel. The punishment for you two scumbags is yet to come. Just wait, I'm going to make you suffer inhuman torment in this world, and then continue to endure inhumane torment after entering the Doomsday world. Mr. Su, just then, Zhao Hong's four subordinates waved at him and asked, I didn't expect you, Mr. Su, to enjoy this kind of thing, beating someone up and then going off to have fun. Why are you still following me? Su Yang asked coldly, didn't I give you all the money? That was our private job for you just now, Mr. Su. One of the subordinates said awkwardly, following you is our boss's order. If the boss doesn't let us leave, we have to follow you. What if you run away with the money? Everyone else can run, but I can't. Su Yang said proudly, didn't you see the balance in my account, tens of millions? Are you still afraid I can't pay back your boss's measly sum? You're insulting my character. Don't be angry, Mr. Su. One of the subordinates said cautiously, this really isn't our fault. We don't want to secretly follow you either, we don't eat or sleep well, not to mention being tired like dogs. It's mainly our boss's intention, and we don't dare to disobey. So please don't make things difficult for us. The reason the four of them said so much to Su Yang was, firstly, because it was indeed Zhao Hong's order, and secondly, they wanted to follow him openly. After all, they had already been discovered, so playing the secret tracking game was useless now. It was better to just follow him openly. Firstly, they could keep a closer eye on him, and secondly, they could see if they could get more private jobs from him. This kid spent money without batting an eye. Just now, they just moved their hands and each earned 100,000, with no risk. If they took on a few more, wouldn't they get rich? Are you that afraid of your boss? He doesn't have 3 heads and 6 arms. Su Yang stared at them for a long time. You don't understand our boss, he's a ruthless character. The four of them immediately changed their expressions when they thought of Zhao Hong's methods. But they were unwilling to say more. Su Yang understood, and with a roll of his eyes, he looked at the four and said, since you are also fulfilling orders, I won't make things difficult for you. If you want to follow, then follow. Just don't hinder me from doing things, otherwise, I'll complain about you to Zhao Hong. The four quickly nodded, don't worry. By the way. Su Yang lowered his voice and asked, can you get me a gun? What did you say? The four were shocked, looked around, and only relaxed when they found no one else nearby. One of the subordinates cautiously asked, Mr. Su, what do you want that for? Illegally possessing firearms is a serious crime. Where would we get something like that? We've never even heard of it. Su Yang looked at their expressions and listened to their words, and he knew they had a connection. Cut the crap. Just tell me if you have a way to get them, Su Yang said with a smile. As long as you can get them, you'll be well rewarded. Upon hearing reward, the four men's eyes lit up again. Then their faces were filled with worry. After all, getting guns was far more dangerous than helping someone beat people up. If this kid got into trouble after getting the guns, all four of them would be finished. Also, if the other party really had guns, it would be dangerous if he became unhappy with them. The four men thought it over and over, all feeling it wasn't worth it. But they couldn't resist the temptation of money. One of the subordinates asked cautiously, Mr. Su, if I may be so bold, why do you absolutely need guns? Nonsense, of course, it's for self-defense. Su Yang said impatiently. Can you get them or not? Give me a straight answer. If not, I'll find someone else. Don't rush, don't rush. The other party quickly waved his hand and asked again, you're not getting guns to deal with our boss after the repayment date, are you? Ah, this kid really guessed right. Not only did I want to deal with Zhao Hong, but I also wanted to deal with you guys, but not now. Su Yang gave the other party an appreciative look. Then he said, why would I deal with him? I'll still be counting on borrowing from your boss when I need funds in the future. Besides, I'm so rich, why would I need to go on the run? I'm getting guns to guard against Cui Qingshui and Wang Qi, those scoundrels. They'll figure out what we did today sooner or later. If they try to harm me, with a gun, I can contend with them, can't I? Don't you trust my reputation? I wouldn't drag you down. Then we're relieved. The other party wiped the sweat from his forehead and continued, although we don't have that stuff, if Mr. Su wants it, we do know someone who can get it. Alright, then you go contact that person. When this deal is successful, each of you will get at least this much. Su Yang held up 2 fingers and wiggled them in front of the 4 men. 200,000. The 4 men were overjoyed. Mr. Su, don't worry, we'll contact this person as soon as possible. One subordinate said, but we're only responsible for contacting, the transaction must be handled by you personally. After all, we have nothing to do with this matter. The 4 men seemed reckless, but they weren't stupid. They would try their best to keep themselves clean. How soon can you contact him? Su Yang asked impatiently. 3 days at the fastest, a week at the slowest. The 4 men replied with a smile, we'll definitely give you a reply as soon as possible. I have other things to do, so you guys go handle it quickly. You can follow me, but don't get too close. After sending the 4 men away, Su Yang immediately threw himself back into stockpiling supplies. He had only stockpiled about 10 million worth of supplies this morning, which was far from enough. He had originally planned to stockpile more in the afternoon, but he didn't expect to encounter the matter with Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi. He enjoyed the fight, but it also wasted nearly 2 to 3 hours. He had to catch up on progress. From 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Su Yang was frantically purchasing. He didn't miss anything: vegetables, fruits, fresh meat, fresh eggs, rice, flour, grains, oil, mineral water, cigarettes, and alcohol. Su Yang even went to the general warehouses of Walmart, Carrefour, and RT Mart in North China. Fortunately, all 3 general warehouses were within the city, otherwise, it would have taken a lot of time on the road. Looking at the dazzling array of supplies inside, each general warehouse was worth at least hundreds of billions. It made him drool. He drove around outside a few times, scouting the locations first. These would all be his in the future. As soon as he got home, he saw a message from Cui Qingxue. Darling, what did you do this afternoon? Why did you leave me alone at the hotel and just leave? I had some important matters to handle. Su Yang replied simply. He immediately turned off his phone. As time passed day by day, Su Yang felt the urgency increasing. With so many things he still hadn't stockpiled, he simply didn't want to waste any more time on Cui Qingxue and Wang Qi. Anyway, it wouldn't be long before someone would give those 2 sluts a good beating for him. And it would be unforgettable for them. The next morning, Su Yang drove straight to a shooting training camp. Since he had chosen to stockpile firearms, he had to undergo shooting training. If his aim wasn't good, then stockpiling even more guns would be useless. Soon, an experienced coach first explained the precautions before shooting. How to load bullets, how to hold a gun, and how to aim at a target. Su Yang quickly took notes, picked up a pistol, and fired at the target 10 meters away with a bang. Your grip on the gun was a bit off just now. The coach glanced and immediately reminded him, hold the pistol with one hand, support the wrist with the other, bend your knees slightly, keep your lower body stable, look directly at the target, take a deep breath, and fire. Bang! One shot hit the bullseye, a perfect 10 rings. Su Yang once again followed the method taught by the other party, firing several shots, and 3 more hit the bullseye. The other bullets were also very accurate, hitting either 9 or 8 rings. For his first time playing with this, Su Yang's talent was definitely high. After all, he had been through so much in the Doomsday world in his previous life. What kind of situation hadn't he seen? His gun-holding hand was especially steady. This training lasted for the entire morning. Under the high coaching fee, the other party taught very seriously, and Su Yang also learned very diligently. From pistols to rifles, he practiced everything. He had already reached a very proficient level. Basically, with one shot, it was at least an 8 ring. When he got into the zone, he could even hit the target with one-handed recoil control. After agreeing to come back tomorrow morning, he drove straight home. He ate lunch and stockpiled supplies for 3 hours. Su Yang drove to a technical school that taught excavator operation. After continuously studying excavator techniques for 3 hours, he returned home content. After all, many of the things he stockpiled had to be mastered personally. If he couldn't master them, they would just be a pile of scrap metal once he entered the Doomsday world. He parked the car in the underground garage. Su-young planned to stroll around the community to relax. He came to the community square, where a group of people were playing basketball. He watched for a while and felt it was uninteresting. He was about to turn and leave. Just then, a basketball came flying towards his back at an extremely fast speed. "Look out!" someone shouted. Feeling the wind behind him, Su-young had a flash of inspiration. He stood there motionless, showing no intention of dodging. As the basketball was about to hit his back, Su-young controlled the space gate to open behind him. The high-speed flying basketball instantly disappeared and was sucked into the space. The person who threw the basketball breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that it hadn't hit anyone. He then froze when he saw the basketball disappear without a trace. "Where's my ball? Where did my ball go?" "The ball's right here." Su-young turned and smiled. He opened the space gate, and the high-speed flying basketball suddenly appeared, directly hitting the backboard. Bang! The entire basketball hoop shook violently. The group of people playing basketball were all stunned when they saw this scene. Especially the person who accidentally threw the basketball at Su-young. He opened his mouth wide and asked in confusion, "How did he do that? Did I see things because it was too dark and the lighting was bad?" At this moment, everyone no longer had the desire to play basketball. Instead, they gathered around Su-young. "Dude, you've got some skills." A tall boy asked with a smile, "How did you do that?" "It's too amazing. I practiced magic for a while before." Su-young calmly said, "I just happened to be free today, so I played around with it again." "Your magic is really good." The tall boy, without a hint of doubt, exclaimed in shock, "You can make objects in motion disappear into thin air, and you don't even let us see any flaws. And you can throw objects in motion out again. With your ability, you could totally go on the Spring Festival Gala. You're much stronger than those magicians who are full of loopholes and only know how to find people to cooperate with. It's not that magical. If you knew the principle, it would actually be very simple." Su-young shrugged humbly. "Perform another one." Many people cheered. "I really can't tell, our neighborhood actually hides such a powerful magician." "All right then." Su-young nodded and said to everyone, "Don't have too much hope. I can't succeed every time." Since someone was willing to cooperate with him to verify the function of his space, he certainly wouldn't refuse. "Come on, find someone, stand far away like just now, and throw the basketball hard at me." Su-young joked, "And carefully, don't hit my nose." "Don't worry, my three-point shot is very accurate." The tall boy took the initiative. He ran far away with the basketball. Holding the basketball with both hands, he shouted at Su-young, "Are you ready?" "I'm ready." Upon hearing the reply, the tall boy threw the basketball with force. The basketball, carrying immense power, flew directly towards Su-young at an extremely fast speed. For a moment, everyone widened their eyes, watching intently. They didn't want to miss any detail, attempting to decipher this magic trick. In a blink of an eye, the basketball had already reached Su-young's front. Just as it was about to collide, the invisible space gate opened. The basketball instantly vanished. "Holy cow, it's gone again. This magic is too..." It flew directly towards the basketball hoop behind him. It was as if the basketball hadn't been hidden by him using a special method, but rather, the entire basketball had passed through his body. Bang! The basketball hit the backboard again. Clap, 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 warm applause erupted. "Awesome!" Everyone applauded and praised. "Perform it again." The unsatisfied crowd clamored. The tall boy once again threw the basketball at Su-young. This time, the basketball still disappeared in front of him, just like before. In an instant, it shot out from his left side, flying dozens of meters away. Can it be operated like this? Everyone was somewhat incredulous. Such a flexible, versatile, and flawless magic trick is too astonishing. Su Yang's performances this time left everyone completely unable to find any flaws. It truly opened their eyes. The tall boy ran over, panting, and picked up the basketball. He shouted again, "Get ready, I'm going to throw it." With a strong push of his hands, the basketball flew out again. Seeing the basketball still about 10 meters away from him, it would rush to his front in an instant. Su Yang immediately dodged away. Bang! The basketball accurately hit the spot where he had just been standing, bounced several meters high with a bang, and rolled away into the distance. No more, no more. Su Yang shook his head repeatedly and said to everyone, "I'm just a magician, I don't have magic. If you keep throwing it like this, you'll definitely kill me." Through the first 3 verifications, he had basically understood the function of the space. He certainly didn't want to perform for the other party anymore. If he kept playing like this, he would definitely be seen through by the other party, and it would be difficult to explain then. It was good enough to let the other party think it was magic. This way, he completely avoided the possibility of complications. And he wouldn't expose his secret. When everyone saw the basketball being thrown, Su Yang's panicked expression didn't seem feigned. This further convinced them that it was indeed magic, only that this magic was highly technical. It was already good enough to succeed 3 times in a row. They once again offered applause and words of praise. Many people also wanted Su Yang's contact information, saying that they would invite him to perform at family elders' birthday parties someday. Especially the tall boy, who insisted on becoming his apprentice and learning from him. He rejected them one by one. He quickly turned around and left, returning to his home. As soon as he returned home, Su Yang let out a long sigh of relief. Cui Qingxue had been brutally beaten today and then tormented again in the afternoon, so she was already exhausted. She didn't return to her own place, nor did she come to Su Yang's place. Instead, she stayed directly in a hotel. Su Yang was happy to be relaxed without having to deal with that bitch. He opened the space gate again and began to study it. Through verification, he found that his space should have a wide range of uses. It was just that it hadn't been developed before. Just like in the square just now. The moment the basketball was thrown at him, he opened the space gate behind him. He directly absorbed the attack into the space. This meant that as long as he wished, he could absorb all incoming objects into the space. Then, he could open the space gate again and release the attacks that had been absorbed into the space. And the direction of release could be freely controlled. This was equivalent to the effect of returning the opponent's attack upon him. Moreover, he could also achieve surprise, silence, and self-selection of targets. The space gate is both offensive and defensive. Su Yang's eyes shone brightly, then wouldn't I be invincible? When he entered the Doomsday world in the future, he would no longer be afraid of being ganged up on. Nor would he fear enemy sneak attacks or hidden arrows. No matter how the enemy attacked him from a distance, he could simply open the space gate and absorb those attacks. Then, he could control them to bounce back. He could also store some high-speed moving objects in the space to attack enemies, which was also a good choice. Just now in the square, Su Yang only verified opening the space gate in front of him, behind him, and to his left. To further implement his idea, with a thought. The space gate opened to his right. After closing, it reappeared above his head and under his feet. When he saw the space gate appear under his feet, he didn't fall into the space. This led him to another conclusion: the space could not absorb people, which was indeed a great pity. Fortunately, overall, as he had guessed, the space gate could be opened anywhere around his body. This way, he wouldn't have to fear any sneak attacks and could achieve all-around, dead-angle-free defense. If a basketball can be absorbed, what about bullets with high impact force and greater power? Su Yang's eyes flashed with brilliance. If I absorb the bullets fired in advance into the space and then release them when I encounter an enemy, wouldn't I be able to kill people invisibly?